What's going on, everybody? It's Josh, aka the Mo's of Muscle, IFBB Pro. Still hate saying that shit. Don't know the best way to go
Yes.
about it.
Sir.
With the original co-host of the Next Up podcast. Talk to him, big dog.
Boys, how we doing? Happy Father's Day. Colin Marco, IFBB Pro, coming at you from the beautiful Raleigh, North Carolina. How are we?
Yeah, I always forget it's Father's Day. Wonder why.
On to the next topic.
Love it. Yeah, I actually did just send my mom a very nice text and said, like, Happy Father's Day. Thanks for being both. So shout out my Dukes. Shout out T Sizzle, Mama J. Uh Mama Moses, that's the new nickname she likes. So we're letting it rock for now.
Love it.
Yeah. But we got some topics. Colin's got some things he wants to get off his chest um while he's growing a chest, while he's growing some titties. So Colin, kick us off, baby. Let's talk about it.
No, it's, this weekend just wrapped up. The weekend that, I inevitably turned pro at last year of junior nats. So shout out to all the athletes and congratulations to all the athletes who earned their pro card this past weekend. And I see a lot of shit, even from when we were at Junior USA's again, the goal inevitably is always a pro card. You go to a pro qualifier not for the experience, not to step on stage. I'm sorry, deep down, you want a fucking pro card. But did you earn that pro card? Do you have the physique to earn a pro card? Do you have a pro level physique, a pro level mindset? Mentality. And, you could have the mindset over the actual physique, but that doesn't mean you're going to turn pro. Also, in turn, the first person I ever really saw do it was James English. He did two shows. He won an overall, he went into Pro Universe back in like 2018. Then Sam Sulek did it. And then it really, really started to get to everyone, it's normal to turn pro in two shows. And I want to just break it to everybody. It's fucking not at all normal. It's never been normal. It never will be normal. You have to be a genetic freak and or someone who has been bodybuilding without the bodybuilding stage for 6, 7, 8 years.
I was just gonna get into that because Sam Sulek is a perfect example of that.
Yeah,
I don't know
100%.
James English's background. I don't care to know James English's background. Um, he's not somebody I give a damn about. But Sam Sulek became popular about 4 years ago. He did his first pro season this year. He did his first bodybuilding season 2 years ago. So for minimum 2 years, he was just straight up bodybuilding. And like genuinely, other than he has a genetic propensity to put on muscle tissue, he had probably been doing that shit for like 5, 6, 7 years beforehand. Um, they say it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. Sam Sulek was already doing the shit. So don't ever let somebody fool you into thinking that like, oh, they became an overnight success. Um, there's one person I can name off the top of my head who's put on something like 60 fucking pounds in their bodybuilding career. He's still not a pro. Um, and he's only been doing it for like 4 or 5 years. And that's Chris here's I don't want to mispronounce his last name, so I'm gonna give it my best shot anyway. Hirotata.
Oh yeah.
He's put on something like 60 pounds in a matter of like 4 years. He looks fucking nuts. And he's put on like you look at his transformation, like you could see it's 60 true pounds of tissue. But like he's still not a pro. So don't think that you are going to fast track your way to being a pro. And like perfect example, I said from jump, yeah, I'm going to be a two-show pro. I'm going to walk in, I'm going to win the overall at Garden States. A week later, I'm going to go to Universe. I'm going to win the overall. Nobody in their right mind knew who Dom Carter was at the time and knew that Dom Carter was going to be at that show. But
Yeah.
you have to almost understand and accept the fact that like it's 95% of the time not going to happen unless you look like you should have been a pro from the time you were like 18 years old.
Yeah.
There's some motherfuckers like that. There's Anton.
Yeah.
He didn't go
Exactly.
pro in two shows.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, when it comes down to it, as we progress through the years, bodybuilding is becoming a lot more popular. With Fit Model coming on, there's a lot more girls who are actually taking part in bodybuilding, although it's not really bodybuilding. I'll never agree to that statement. But it's also to the fact that, Classic has taken bodybuilding by storm. It is by far the most popular division. Everyone wants to turn pro in Classic. Everyone wants to call himself a Classic Pro. Two of us can actually say that we are. So fuck y'all. Um, um, but it's for those who are feeling like they deserve a pro card. They work so hard, effortlessly every single day. It's the shit like that where it's honestly when you go into the show and you don't really have to fucking stress about it, you don't think about it, you show up and do the thing. Most of the time, it kind of falls in your favor. For those who consistently post online, they fell short last year, but oh, we're coming to get it this year. I'm fucking bring conditioning, and then you fall three places in your national showing at the same show. That's a fucking issue.
Shot.
And
That's a fucking shot. Call him out. If you won't,
it's
I
I don't
will.
even I genuinely even don't even know his name, but he competed with me last year at Junior Nats, and he was like, "Oh, like I'm fucking coming for it all. I put on X amount of tissue, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Dude, first of all, you're 2 inches taller than me. I don't even know how the fuck you're in Class A. I'm not even supposed to be in Class A." Um, but it's just
Oh, I
again,
know who you're talking about, and I thought you were talking about someone different because the same motherfucker turned around and talked shit to me, or a different motherfucker talked shit to me at Junior Nats. I'm talking about Thomas. You're talking about, I think his name's Taylor. I don't
no,
care.
not Taylor. No, Taylor's actually cool as shit. I know who you're talking
Taylor
about.
is cool. That's why I was like, yo, what? But either way, all right. So I got it wrong. I thought it was
Yeah,
Taylor. I'm talking about Thomas. Thomas Heike told me he was winning the overall last year and then came in third this year. So
and I
tough.
watched him walk off the stage last year in Class D, fucking almost bawling his eyes out.
Yeah.
But
So
nonetheless, we're here now. Um, but yeah, and that's the biggest thing when it comes down to it. And especially when you go on stage, the one thing that I've seen a lot is that, people will move coach to coach. And this kind of rolls me into the next topic. And if the coach missed going into the show, if condition was off, if the peak was wrong, if he spilled you, if you were just flat as dick on stage, Um, anything that is within the control of the coach, if it went wrong and it gives you reason being, and I'm sorry, it's more than one season. Again, I'm not justifying the fact that one season that you need more than one season, but it's more of if he completely missed the fucking mark, like it's so far left that it's not even, we're not even talking about the same division at this point. You have every right, he or she, to leave the coach by all means. But if you don't get the placing you want, that doesn't justify you leaving because your feelings are hurt. Because I'm sorry, if a coach, to your extent, your old coach, missed by a fucking long shot, there's a lot of calls that were being made that I didn't fucking agree with. But at the same time, this is your prep. I'm not here to diminish what you're trying to do. So I'll support as much as I could. And then after, the curtains close, you heard my opinions on it. And likewise, if Jack was a fucking moron and was doing shit to me, you probably would have bit your tongue and then after would have told me. But it's like if you don't get the placing you want because you're just not big enough and you earned your placing, tough shit, work harder. And that's inevitably kind of my next idea here is that you have to learn to control the controllables and let go of the uncontrollables. If you are just outsized and you are outclassed, but everything else is perfect, come back better. Work harder in your
hold
off
up,
season.
hold up. Let's talk about the coach thing really quick. So when we're
Yeah.
sitting there and we're talking about, your coach missing the mark, if this is your first time working with a coach, so like I'm gonna say this because I definitely could be known as a coach hopper at this point. I've had like five different coaches. Um, Eddie, rest in peace. Justin, um, Cuba, Spanish Drano, now Joe. Uh, you know, Cuba missed, right? But Cuba missed, and there were reasons for his missing. He wasn't here. He never saw me in person. and that's not on him. He lives in fucking England. Um, I don't think he knew that I was realistically training as hard as I was, and that I lost some size in that prep. It was nowhere near as bad as the following prep, but there were definitely some things that like were left on the table. I did not leave him for that reason. I left him after the fact, not because I was upset with how we were doing things, but because, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna say it anyway. I was given the same program and plan as someone else. You're a top level coach. You're supposed to be known as a top level coach. Shouldn't do that. From what I've heard, Kuba has changed a lot. Give him the credit where it's due. Right? Good for him. No, no qualms about it. I still talk to him on occasion. I have no problems with Kuba. Spanish Drano, on the other hand, talked a lot of shit going into it. You're going to win the overall. You're going to win the overall. You're going to win the overall. Cool. When the time came, we know the story about Junior Nats. I went hypo, ridiculously flat, lost all my pop, turn around, Humalog, muffin, restricting water, kind of sort of barely making weight, but like should have made weight by a long shot. And that just kind of ruined that prep. And then reaction, the horrible reaction afterwards was, hey, let's lose 25 fucking pounds because they said you weren't tight enough. And that was, hey, you made not only the wrong call, but hey, you've never worked with my body before.
Yeah.
I stayed with him for another month after that. Where I decided that it was time to leave was when not only was my health in jeopardy, my look suffered, and when I bring something up, it would get a response like, hey, I have like crippling edema in my ankles. Quote unquote, don't wear tight socks. Hey, I think that my blood sugar is just sitting too high. I'm going to change your diet, does not change the diet. Hey, I'm going to send you over the post-show like recovery plan and supplements. Never sent them. And prove that that was never sent. So that was me changing my coach, not because of, oh, I didn't like my placings or because, I was told one thing and something else happened. Both times it was something with the plan that I was paying for as a customer that either did not happen or did not happen how it should have happened and therefore left. Now, credit to Joe, because he does deserve this credit. To nail a peak on the first time is fucking rare. And Joe, without a doubt, nailed a peak while playing with a weight cap that shit, I was 7 pounds over 7 days out.
Yeah.
And we expected me, you expected it, I expected it, Joe expected it, me to step on stage around 215 pounds. Stepped on stage at 224 pounds. Actually, 226 at prejudging. Hey, listen, that's a different body than was originally thought. I swear somebody who might have just broke the leg press. Um, yeah, so that just made me lose my train of thought. I'm sorry.
No, it's funny you say it because again, people are gonna, take that to home and be like, oh, well, fucking, well, if you're not a good coach, you're not gonna fucking get the peak rep. Motherfucker, I give you any athlete with any amount of data collection, you fucking get that shit right. And I ain't talking, oh, go get Batterina or go get Bumstead or Dino. Like, don't land a fucking amateur who's in shape. Because I'm sorry, realistically, anyone can put someone on stage. If they're in shape, you can fucking throw a bunch of shit at them and walk them on stage, they'll be fine. But will it be polished? Will it be full? Will it be full and dry? Will it be full and watery? Is there going to be a bit of sweat pouring out of them on the stage as soon as they go through one round of posing? How are you controlling their sodium? How are you controlling their water intake? Are you throwing in any diuretics? Are you doing natural diuretics? No matter what, anybody can say anything. You don't know until you do it. And it's like, anybody is willing enough to say, "Oh, peaking is not hard." Peaking's not hard, but at the same time, if shit goes left and you go right, let's try again next weekend, brother, because it's over.
You can make one call and it fucks the entire process. I have
100%.
I have only put one person No, I put a couple people through a full prep. I've had more people come to me for just peaking. Um, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat and say that you know, I haven't nailed those three peak or those couple peaks. Like at a 21-day prep, that's pretty much just peaking. Um, Obviously, Cassie, uh, 10 days out, turns around. I just took over the fucking blend and peaked her very well. Um, it's not common to nail it, or it's not common to nail a peak, but it's also not very hard if the person is willing to listen to every variable there is.
Yeah.
If you turn around and you have somebody who is in front of you who is not only really about this shit, but also willing to do whatever it takes, it makes it a lot easier. But when you have a coach who has been with you the entire prep, that definitely makes it a little harder because they have some emotional attachment to you no matter what. And knowing that, like, hey, depending on what happens here, is like most people aren't paid up past their show.
Yeah.
The show ends, it's time to renew the payment. So you know that you're working for your next dollar. Whereas I promise you, you turn around, you pay your coach for 3 months post show, they're going to make the right call more often than the coach that you just pay until the end of the show because there's no pressure.
Yeah, I mean, I to a certain extent I do agree with that for sure, but I do also think when it comes to the actual show portion of it, they're still going to give, and again, I'm not saying everybody because there are a lot of fucking pieces of shit in this world, especially in the bodybuilding world when it comes to coaches, but in turn for the sake of landing you properly, putting on a good showing, be able to post something for social media, great. That next day you hit them up, they're gonna act like you don't fucking exist. If your payment's out, fuck, you want any sort of guidance? Fucking shoot me a Venmo, maybe we'll talk. Fucking fill out your Stripe payment, and maybe we'll talk. But once that happens, hey, what's my reverse plan? I don't know, motherfucker. Who are you? What's your name? Where'd you compete? It's bound, and it's the thing, at the end of the day, I can see it from both sides. It's a business. You pay X amount. Same thing. You have a subscription to fucking Netflix. That bitch runs out. What are you gonna fucking? What is Netflix? Be like, yeah, you can have a day. No, it's cut off. So it's like there's a bit of nuance to both sides here. It's you pay for a service you get. You say you win your show, you're fucking happy as shit. Next day you're looking at it. If you have a decent, someone who's honestly a younger coach who's upcoming, who's not just necessarily going to throw someone off to the side because they don't necessarily want to, or it's more of a marketing thing, or whatever the case may be. Yeah, they're gonna help them out. But if you get like a fucking Justin Jacoby, it'll be like, "Dude, you didn't pay." Like, and again, I could be speaking out of my ass for Justin here, but it's like, again, it's a business.
Yeah, it's a genetic thing too. If you have a genetic freak, there's going to be more leniency. I'll tell you that straight up. I don't care who you are, right?
Yeah.
If a payment doesn't go through, and you are Hani Rambod and Seabum's payment didn't go through, he's not dropping Seabum,
Yeah.
right? And Phil Heath, same thing. You have a freak, you have a genetic fucking anomaly. Their payments drops or it doesn't go through for, a week. You might not even bring it up until you're like, hey, listen, your payment didn't go through. You think you can handle that? And 90% of the time, if they are, a decent human being, they'll handle it. But like, if we're being completely honest here, the genetic elite get some leniency.
Yeah. No, and,
It's
and that's
just,
the
it is
thing.
what it is.
Yeah. And that's it is like you said, it is what it is. It's just kind of how it is. But at the end of the day, it's as much as it's a business, it is a big marketing thing. You have a genetic freak who just fucking absolutely cracking win after win, pops a pro card, goes to the pro league, and just plays top five in his like first date and his debut show. It's like, what the fuck? It's something that you kind of run away with, and inevitably, you even when you're up and coming, people always say, value your time, make sure you charge people, every person. If you have a genetic freak, motherfucker, if I pop a pro card with this kid, it's gonna get me fucking 10 more. So it's like that little donation you make to the world will be paid off in full and then some down the line because they're going to see you do that and be like, I want to be pro. I want to turn pro. I need him. He's the next up and coming. And it's like I'm gonna fucking sign with him. So it's like it pays for itself. So again, it's there's many different perspective and many different lenses to look at it from. But again, everyone has their opinions. We've talked about my opinion on the whole thing too with a specific someone and why I was doing it. But again, it's all part of it.
Yeah, the genetic elite are great until they don't fucking listen. And that's the ending crux of what we get to in that, like, hey man, I'm not going to sit here and tote some horn and say that I'm a genetic elite, but my body has a fucking way about it that at some point I don't have the same genetics as other people. I could start to look really dry and fucking grainy and also have some roundness to me that like a lot of people can't have. Um, but guess what? I still pay Joe. Um, I will not miss a payment. I fucking listen. I didn't always listen to other coaches, mainly Spanish Drano, because it didn't fucking make sense. Um, but like, I don't want people to think, oh, just because they're genetic elite, they're special. No, no, no. They're genetic elite and they also fucking follow the plan. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm gonna throw out Scalzo right now, right? So Scalzo just started with me and he's already saying this is the best he's ever looked and the best he's ever responded. He's in a deficit right now, and we could see him growing week over week. He's a genetic elite.
Yeah.
Scouts also pays, so don't get it fucking confused. Um, but guess what? Like he responds really well because he fucking listens and he communicates. Right? We had a situation where we were running a high day. In the high day post workout, I had a certain amount of insulin in there, pretty much just to match like carbs. And he went hypo like 4 hours later. So I said, fuck that. Let's make some adjustments. Let's turn around, drop the insulin down to X amount. I want to move these fats to this meal, blah, blah, blah. Hasn't happened since. Oh, I wonder why. Yo, what's your fasted or what's your postprandial sitting at? Right around 80. All right, cool. We're in a good spot now. We made the changes. He communicated the problem, and now we're in a good spot again.
Yeah, and that's a
And again,
big
genetic elite. Like he went to the fucking Olympia his first year as a pro.
yeah. It's and that's the thing. It's communication is something that will always be the detriment to most athletes because whether they feel like they're bothering their coach, whether they just feel like they can do it on their own, um, anything of that nature. It's just, if I wasn't willing to tell Jack about X, Y, and Z, how I'm feeling, you know, for something as stupid as, we pulled cardio because I felt like my fucking feet were 15 feet behind me when I was walking and I was doing 15 to 18,000 steps at work because I was bartending. And it's just like all these things just mixed in the part where I was losing 5, 6, even like 7 pounds at a clip at like the first month to 5 weeks of my prep, where it's like, yeah, we shaved off 20 pounds very fast. And then it's like, all right, dude, well, we got to slow this shit down. I told him we made a change and it's for the sake of more food, less cardio, and my body just kept ripping and ripping and going. But it's like if I just, was the hard-nosed bodybuilder and just, sucked in, endured the pain, I would have been fucking emaciated come stage if I just continued to do all the cardio. I would have lost a shit ton of tissue. That T3 would have ate right through all the fucking my entire back that I put on that off season. It's it's very stupid and nuanced and very specific things, but again, it's things that are very necessary. Anything you might think is stupid and unnecessary, tell your coach. Just if it really is, if genuinely, if it's something where it's like really stupid and fucking unnecessary, you'll be able to tell. But if you think there holds any sort of validity, fucking tell your coach. That's what
You
he's
know,
there for.
in general, tell your coach because worst case scenario, they say, "Yeah, this was unneeded information."
Exactly. And then you know for the future.
Yeah, like that's super simple. I mean, I had a situation like that in the peak. I turned around, I weighed in, I was 223.2. We were still focusing on making that weight cap at 224, right? I then took like a 30-minute nap, woke up, and I was 222.5. And I sent over that text and was like, hey, listen, just so you know, I turned around, I was actually 222.5. All I did was just take another 30-minute nap. Um, and his immediate response was like, cool, not really information I needed to know. I just needed to know what your fasted weight was. I'm not worried about it that much.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, like I didn't take offense to it. I gave him the information as a just in case. The just in case wasn't needed, we move forward. So I think now, being that I personally am in a big growth phase, rebounding, and you just finished up your growth phase and are now in a mini cut, let's talk about growing during bodybuilding season, like your off season, and not just growing in the terms of like muscle mass, but like taking the things that you learned in a prep, high cat, in a prep or a diet phase, and taking that into your off season, the little things that actually make the big differences. Because I think habits are not only created in the off season, but they're solidified in the off season.
Yeah. No, it's definitely something where, um, there's been off seasons prior where when I first started bodybuilding, I was 8 weeks out on stage for my first show. The second show, it was again a very stressed out individual. But again, that was all due in part of myself. Like I was the, oh, I'm gonna fucking turn pro. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I wasn't shit at all. And I look back at it, and at the same time, like my off seasons were horrible. Every single weekend, I was out drinking, out to all times of the day. Um, you know, there was no sort of routine whatsoever. I was completely out of rhythm with everything. I never picked up any sort of habits for the sake of routine through my off season, for the sake of meal prep, for the sake of training intensity, training in general on a consistent basis, cardio on a consistent basis. There's nothing that really solidified until honestly when I got with Jack. And again, this isn't Jack's doing, it's just more of a timeline standpoint. But it was, the idea of really leaning into the bodybuilding. And so in my off season, it's, not fucking off on cardio. So that was something that was no-brainer for me going into a prep. I was already doing it, so now we're just doing a little bit more. Um, and then when it came to the actual training portion, actually following a training plan given to you by a coach that you pay for, training intensity, making sure you're moving the weights properly, you're not just moving A to B. And then also when it came to just routine in general for the sake of like what I do on a day-to-day basis. We want to progress in bodybuilding. Drinking does not have a place at all. You can have a drink here and there, but it's not, you can't go get drunk every single weekend and expect to make these drastic strides. And even if you do, at what cost? You're gonna fucking deteriorate your health at a lightning fast rate,
Yeah.
even more than it already is.
Shit, take an oral and go out for a drink and see what your liver comes out next week.
Exactly. And that's the thing is if you're doing, any sort of high push on any sort of drug load, then you go out and drink a shit ton, go get blackout drunk. One, you're destroying your neurological system, and then at the same time, your organs are fucking suffering. I don't give a shit how much glutathione you want to take and how much NAD plus you want to take. That's a lot of shit to combat. Um, and it's really just finding, a true, not even a love, but like more so just accepting the fact that this is what you want to do. You live a different lifestyle than everyone else. If you truly want to be a professional and progress within the pro league or even just progress in the NPC, you have to live a different style of life. There's definitely levels to it. And as you progress and get more mature with, your routine, your strategy of how to go about your off season, when you go about prep, it all makes much more sense of why they always talk about bodybuilding being so lonely is because you live a life that is extremely, extremely different from anyone ever.
I, yeah, I just had this conversation with someone yesterday, funny enough. She's a younger girl in bodybuilding, and I asked her straight up, I was like, yo, are you natural? And she goes, no. And she goes, honestly, here was my opinion on it. Bodybuilding, natty, or enhanced is going to be deleterious to your health. She didn't use that word, but that's the word that I'm using. It's going to be deleterious to your health. So why the fuck would I half-ass it? It's actually healthier to be enhanced as long as all the other light parameters are in place. If you're sitting there drinking every weekend, light parameters aren't in place. If you're sitting there, smoking cigarettes every weekend, light parameters are not in place. If you're going out and doing binge cheat meals, fucking guilty, right? Like I used to do that shit all the time. your life parameters are not in place because you're going to fuck yourself up.
Yeah.
So being smart in that realm is paramount. But let's talk about like positive habits in the growth
Yeah.
and like positive habits that you've taken away. Like personally, I'll say this right now. I started doing my morning vacuums again. There used to be a time where I would post my morning vacuums every morning. Um, I did 100 days straight for prepping 24. And then I'll be honest with you, I did not practice some shit since. I've just always been able to pull a good vacuum. Now I'm gone back to posting them every morning, which is my way of being accountable and making sure that I'm doing them. And the reason is because not only am I trying to push up to a new body weight, I have a pro cap, and there's motherfuckers in classic like Niall Darwin. Right. There's levels to this shit. There's always going to be levels to this shit. So those little 1% are the things that make biggest differences when you're sitting there and you're trying to be that next level bodybuilder. So that's one that I've taken as a positive. Another one is post shit. When you're sitting there and you're in prep and you're doing, 14, 15, 20,000 steps, right? You start to find ways of like, hey, I'm going to do a 10-minute post meal walk just because like I got to get these fucking steps in. Keeping little habits like that are going to make way more progress for you because not only are you going to help your actual just staying active, but like insulin sensitivity is going to be better. You'll be able to eat more food because you can digest it better. You're going to stay a little bit leaner because not only is your blood sugar spiking high, but now it's coming back down at a relatively good rate. You can keep your A1C lower. You can do a lot of things that are going to be more beneficial. I don't want to just start listing shit off. So take one, take two, take how many ever you want to take right now.
Yeah, no, the one big habit that I've really fallen into, and what I took from being on stage at Junior Nats is, the judges told me, my posing was polished and like it was professional, it was very, very well done, very well held on stage. Thank God, because fuck me, if I ran for another couple rounds, they wouldn't have been so polished. But the same kind of idea is that I very much took posing serious through my off season. Post-workout posing, it's the same thing. You get done with any sort of hard workout. It doesn't matter if it's arms, doesn't matter if it's legs, chest, back, whatever. Go and pose. You could be fat as shit in the off season. It, it's going to help you maintain mobility to a certain extent. And again, you're going to see the lacking there of mobility. And it's going to move me to my next point. It's going to help you maintain and hold those poses when you're fat as shit and out of breath. It's going to really instill the habit to now that we're going into prep, you're going to be practicing posing anyways. So you're going to be doing post-workout posing. You're going to be doing posing in the morning. Now, do I say you need to sit there and do 30 minutes of fucking post-workout posing? No, you can run a couple rounds and then call it a day. But at the same time, don't just same thing with cardio. If you got cardio, you're not doing it fast, you're doing a post-workout, be like, I'll do it tomorrow. And then what does that lead to? I'll do it tomorrow. And then the day after. And then you're just done. You just haven't done it in a week. And then all of a sudden now it's a month. So again, it's a snowball effect for sure. But if you can hold yourself accountable for the sake, every single session, I'm gonna go do post-workout posing. I'm gonna take out post-workout shots, which is gonna force me to do post-workout posing, which inevitably is what I do. Um, and that's my own accountability standpoint. And then now, as I grow more and more, the biggest I've been at this body weight and leanest I've ever been. As I continue to push up body weight, my mobility just goes to absolute dog shit. So, me and Jack have come up with a plan. Just again, it's not like we had anything intensive, but again, a mobility program daily. Still, again, getting to the point of actually doing it daily, but making sure we're keeping the shoulders very mobile, keeping the back nice and open, keeping the legs nice and open. Because again, a tight muscle is not happy, and you can go and pinch, tear, tweak, strain, and all of a sudden that off season that you were growing like a fucking weed comes to a screeching halt because now you can't train.
Yep.
So again, taking your ligaments and your tendons and your musculature as serious as you're training. Besides actually breaking them down, more so the musculature, not tendons, but breaking down the muscle and rebuilding. Same thing. You want to keep everything healthy. You want to keep your circulation up. You want to keep the blood flow moving because again, once that comes to a screeching halt, your world will just come fucking crashing down around you. And I'm sorry, it's 15 minutes in the morning upon waking. You get that done in the day. If you're telling me you don't have 15 minutes, you're lying to yourself. Everybody does.
Hey, listen, I am the worst candidate for this because I don't even fucking warm up before I train. I'll tell you right now, I was going down the stairs this morning, both my knee and my hip started hurting. And I go, it's way too early in off season for that. So I decided today, I said, you know what? I'm at minimum gonna warm up. At minimum gonna warm up. I have an idea behind a mobility routine that I'm gonna try and do. Um, and I say try because I'm not perfect and I've never been perfect, especially when it comes to stretching. But at the end of the day, every time I have consistently stretched, I feel better. And here, the biggest thing I think when it comes to an off season and growing is feeling your absolute best the entirety of the time. If you can turn around and you could feel money for 95% of your off season, yeah, you might have some lower back pumps, right? You might have some when you're really pushing up to new body weights, like there's going to be some discomfort. But if you're sitting there like, you feel generally healthy, 90% of the time, your joints feel good, your muscles feel good, you don't have any tightnesses, you're going to be a much more productive bodybuilder, just in general. Um, and I think that that is something that's huge. The last thing I really want to get into when it comes to like good routines, good habits to keep, is having a good sleep routine. A lot of people, and I know that I'm saying this, and this is one of those preaching to the choir moments because you're going to be, an offset here. People have lives, obviously, right? You have shit that you have to do. You have to work some nights. The closer you can get to being 100% on the money, going to sleep at the same time, waking up at the same time, is going to set your body up to be in a good circadian rhythm to actually be able to do what you want it to do. Sometimes shit happens. Sometimes your routine gets skewed up. But if your routine gets screwed up every week the same way, that is your routine.
Yeah,
Now just make that a thing, right? If you turn around and you have to work until, say, midnight one night, the next day you wake up at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock because you got home at 1. Okay, so that's your Saturday routine now.
yeah,
Make sure it stays consistent. On Monday, you turn around, you worked until 8 o'clock. You get home, you went to bed at 9, you woke up at 5:30. That is your routine now. So keeping things consistent is going to always provide better results. Food, cooking it the same way, eating your meals at the same time. All of those little things put your body in a routine where it just becomes a machine. So
100%. Couldn't agree
and
more.
really, really, really quick, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow Colin, follow me, DM either one of us for coaching. This is what we do. This is what we love to do. This is what we want to do full time. Neither one of us are there yet. So help you boys out because we're going to help you out in the process. Code Moses at checkout for HD Muscle and Natural Body. Natural Body's doing a really cool shirt right now. It's a Knicks shirt. If you're a Knicks fan, go get that shirt. Realistically, even if you're not a Knicks fan, remember that Gotham is here. We will not have a state for much longer. So like New York's probably going to burn to the ground. So it's the last time they're going to get something like that. Other than that, Colin, anything you want to share?
No, sir, I have no codes. I'm not popular and I'm okay with it. So, anywho, appreciate you all for tuning in on another Next Up podcast, and we will catch you very soon.
Fuck yeah.